I'm Sandy Mitchell, driving the number 78 Lamborghini Huracan here, prepared by Barwell Motorsport.
First of all, how's the weekend going on the whole? It's been a bit tricky this morning.
Yeah, tricky morning with the weather and also track conditions. It's pretty cold, and I think there was a few incidences from the GT4 cars, so a couple of red flags, and yeah, not much track time, but thankfully we had the Thursday test day, which went really well, so yeah, we were consistently up at the top of the timings and hoping for the same later in qualifying.
Speaking of qualifying, the weather looks a bit torrid. How does that change your preparation going into it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've not ran in the wet so far this weekend. All the test sessions have been dry, so we've got one more test session before qualifying, and it looks like it's going to be wet. So yeah, we'll just have to try and learn as much as we can in that 1 hour pre-qualifying session to set us up for later in the day. And yeah, I kind of hope it's going to dry again, because we've been quite quick in the dry so far. But yeah, we just have to take what comes and see where we are.
A lot of people from outside of motorsport would assume that your role is you kind of just turn up and jump in the car. How different is that to the actual circumstance? What goes off between race weekends?
Yeah, I mean, the drivers work very closely with the engineers and the team to help to try and improve the car throughout the year. You know, we fill in our race reports and things like that as well, which we send off to Lamborghini or whichever brand you drive for, or your race team as well. So yeah, I think, you know, at the end of the day, we're the ones that are driving the car, so our feedback is quite valuable, and although the guys have all the data which they can learn from and help them to make decisions and change things, I think the drivers are a big part of that as well. So yeah, and then obviously you've got all the preparation that goes in from a driver's side into a race weekend, so whether that's simulator work or watching old races and studying how they've gone so that you know what you can do going into the race weekend. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it to be best prepared and ready for the race weekend.
Right, this is obviously the final round of the season.
Yeah.
Is it the final round of your season though, or does yours continue off?
Yeah, so I've got another race next week in Barcelona for the last round of the GT World Challenge European Championship. So yeah, it's been a busy season and in a busy spell at the moment with 4 weekends in a row of racing. So yeah, it's a busy end to the year, and looking forward to the last round in Barcelona as well for the European. We've had a bit of a tricky year out there so far, so it'd be nice to hopefully end on a high in British GT and end on a high in the European Championship as well.
Right, like you said, you've had 4 races in 4 weeks. How do you keep yourself mentally trained on each championship? Like, is there different ways you set up, or? Yeah,
it depends. You know, some championship use different tyres. For example, in IMSA we have the Michelin tyre, whereas a lot of the European championships are using the Pirelli. So that changes your kind of approach and maybe the driving style that you have to adopt a little bit as well. So yeah, you might start on the simulator to think about these kind of things, and yeah, I mean, the approach can be different. For example, you know, here if you're coming into the last round with a chance to win the championship, then you know you might have to be a little bit more careful and not kind of throw things away, whereas the last round next week in Barcelona, you know, we've got nothing to lose. We're not in the fight for the championship, so we can just kind of go into it all guns blazing and try and get the best result possible.
And last question, what would you say to someone who is not watched British GT before? Why should they watch the Donington Decider?
I think it's British GT is really growing massively every year, and it seems like more and more people come to the track, which I think is a good sign. And yeah, the racing's fantastic in the GT racing, nice and close, lots of overtaking. So yeah, there's many cars that can still win the championship as well. So it's yeah, it's well worth a watch.